Namaskar. Welcome to this new session. We have been considering the chitta-parikarma, and the first option of chitta-parikarma mentioned by Patañjali in the sutra Maitrī karuṇā muditā-pekṣāṇāṁ sukha-duḥkha puṇya-apuṇya viṣayāṇāṁ bhāvanātaḥ citta-prasādanam. So therein we were considering that exceptional case with which we react in not so civilized manner, not so decent manner, and the sutra has reference to that. And Patanjali, when he mentions this, Vachaspati, while commenting on this sutra, rather commenting on Vyāsa's commentary, explaining Vyāsa's commentary, he introduces us to beautiful concept of Kāluṣya, prejudice in our mind. So we can be unprejudiced or prejudiced. And we are prejudiced with reference to some people, selected people, not otherwise. But otherwise we are unprejudiced with respect to other people. But this is the problem to human psyche, that we are prejudiced. And then he mentions that is called Kāluṣya. In Sanskrit it is Kāluṣya. He mentions that there are three kinds of Kāluṣya, such as īrṣā-kāluṣya, parāpkāra-kāluṣya, and asuyā-kāluṣya, kāluṣya. So this Kāluṣya is of three types: īrṣā, parāpkāra, and asuyā. Now this is with reference to first three bhāvanās mentioned by Patanjali: Maitrī, karuṇā, muditā. So in exceptional cases, we don't practice the normal reaction or normal kind of our response, because of this exceptional condition on account of we being prejudiced about someone. So the Maitrī is for one who is happy. Maitrī is with respect to sukham, somebody in sukha, somebody in delight, somebody in happiness. Usually we must be having friendliness. It is not to become friend, but to have friendliness. How is our relationship with our friend? That relationship is called friendliness. If a friend is happy, we are also happy. If the friend has happiness due to success, we are also happy. If the friend has happiness due to any other reason, we are also happy. So that's the friendliness, the Maitrī bhāva. So usually we have Maitrī bhāva. If somebody is happy, we say, fine. But with reference to that particular person which I have been referring, that we have unusual reaction because we are prejudiced, and that is called īrṣā, īrṣā-kāluṣya. So we don't like that person being happy, and that is the kind of our reaction on account of our mind infested by prejudice, and that is called īrṣā-kāluṣya. We don't expect that person to be happy. We don't expect that particular person to be happy at all. We expect that person all the time to be sad, in problems, in difficulties, in agonies, in worries, in anxieties. We don't tolerate that person. We have desire that this person should be always not happy. Even if the person is not sad, we don't want this person to be happy. That's our desire in our deep psyche, in a deeper plane of mind. So that is our desire, that this person should be suffering. And that's why it is called īrṣā-kāluṣya. We have a desire to such an extent because of that particular person coming under the shadow of our prejudice. So that's why we unusually react to that person, and we have unusual reaction, or within our mind we may not react in a motor form, but within our mind we are not happy. We are hurt, we are infuriated, we are angry, we are having malice, we have jealousy. When such person is happy, that person is happy, that particular person is happy. It is because one simple desire that we have in our mind that this person should never be happy. That's why it is called īrṣā-kāluṣya, because there is this desire. There, Patañjali says we must identify such a condition, which is unusual condition. Generally, we don't react that way. Generally, it doesn't come to our mind that way. If somebody is happy, we are happy. So therefore, we need some reformation there with reference to this person, with regards to this particular person. We need some reformation. And we also need to improve our reactions. Because many times we may not react, but still the mind is having malice, the mind is maligned. The mind is maligned, although we may not react. So that there we need reformative consciousness to be handled, to be shaped, to be cultured, to be processed. And in case that we react that way, then we have to improve our reactionary consciousness, so that we will also be having Maitrī bhāva, even if with that person, if the person is happy. This is so important for a yogic mind. Then, with reference to a person, generally, if a person is sad, we have compassion, we feel sorry. For anyone who is not happy, for anyone who is sad, we feel sorry, we are sad. And when we are sad, it's not only that we are sad and we have a feeling of sorriness in our mind, but we have compassion. We have compassion. We are shaken, and we have compassion generally for a person suffering. But then, in the exceptional case, we have what Vachaspati called as parāpkāra-kāluṣya. We have a sadistic mentality. We actually want to inflict sufferance to such person, but we cannot be doing it. So the relationship is such, and because of the prejudice that we have in our mind, we feel that this person, I should be harming this person, I should be vexing this person, I should be tormenting this person. And when we are not able to do it, or when we have not done it and it happens that the person is vexed and troubled and tormented and in sorrows, then we don't have compassion. We are happy. We are happy that if I have not taken the revenge, somebody else has taken the revenge. And that is called parāpkāra. We never want to help such a person. We want to see only if this person is inconvenienced. Not only not help the person, but we want to trouble the person, vex the person, torment the person. That is called parāpkāra. opposite of upakara. We never want to favor such person. If possible, we want to disfavor this person. So that is called parāpkāra-kāluṣya. So this must be identified. Where is it that we have in our mind such a maligned condition that we are browny in our mind, we become darkish in our mind, we become black in our mind with reference to one particular person. Otherwise, we are not like that. We are civilized, we are decent, we are well behaved, we are good in nature. So generally we are good in nature, and therefore we would be having compassion for anyone who is sad, whether known person or unknown person. We are sad. If anybody is sad, we have compassion. But for this person, we don't have compassion. We have opposite tendency towards this person. Rather than being compassionate, we want to be cruel. But when we are not able to actually be cruel to such person, and somebody has accomplished our job, we are happy, because we are definitely having cruelty for such person. That's called parāpkāra-kāluṣya. Apakara means to be cruel, which is bang opposite to compassion. Upakara means to be having compassion. Apakara means to have this nature to take a revenge, or there is cruelty in us. And therefore we are happy, we are sadistic with regards to this particular person, selected person. That is called parāpkāra-kāluṣya. Then the third one is asuyā-kāluṣya. Asuyā means not tolerating. And then to have envy and jealousy and for such a person. So generally we don't entertain jealousy, but with reference to particular person we have jealousy. It is because the person is not in good books with us. We don't like the person, we hate the person. There might not be any sound reason why we should be hating the person. As I told you in the last session, something called as the Shadashtaka. So, hate at first sight kind of thing. Now, when you are hating someone at first sight, there is no reason why you should be hating. But still we hate. As there is love at first sight, there is hate at first sight. And that is called asuyā-kāluṣya. So what is this asuyā? Asuyā is a kind of intolerance for someone's welfare. Now, if someone is a virtuous person, we don't have gladness, which is usual reaction, our mind having some happiness and delight and gladness. If somebody is virtuous, we say, wonderful, fine. But this person is doing some virtuous act, we have jealousy. So usually we don't have to have jealousy for someone doing good work, good job, noble work, noble job. We don't have to have jealousy. But because this person is so related to us that we start developing jealousy, envy, and that is called asuyā-kāluṣya. So there also we have to understand that we are unusually reacting with regard to this particular person, and we should overcome that. Because that is really mixing some dark matter in our mind. See, when there is a huge kind of pack of mangoes and one mango is soiled, then we know that if we do not remove that mango, it is going to spoil other mangoes also. Similarly, this one person who is really darkening our mind, making our mind grey, brown, dirty, we need to identify this. And just as the rotten mango is immediately separated from a basket of mangoes, we must separate and we must take care of this. Otherwise, it is in the basket, like soiled mango in a basket is going to spoil all mangoes. So the good mind, we react in a good way with everyone. But then this one person, he is in such a bad account in our minds that he spoils our mind. It is because we have related ourselves to that person in that way. And therefore we need to reform that. There is no point in keeping soiled mango in the basket along with other good mangoes. It is going to harm all the mangoes. And that's why it is going to harm all our mind. We are good with everyone, but we are not good with this particular person, one person. This is the one which creates problem in our meditations. So if you come across this, that your mind is unusually tormented, unusually disturbed, when you go to japa, in your business activity of life, when you are carrying out your business activity, you are not that. But when you sit for japa, invariably if that is happening, then that means we should know that there is a soiled mango fallen in our basket of mangoes, which is our mind stuff. And therefore we need to reform ourselves there. Let us not have this prejudice for this person. Let us overcome, let us try to rationalize ourselves and say that for no reason I have prejudice for this person. Let me not have that. So once you overcome, you have a saintly mind. Because a saint is good to everyone. Saint has friendliness to everyone. And only then the saint is saint. So we are just short of just one person in relationship whereby our good mind is spoiled, and that only bubbles up in meditative acts or japa or dhyana. And therefore this is the purport of the sutra. Maitrī, karuṇā, muditā. These are three bhāvanās. And Patanjali himself clarifies upeksha, the fourth one, is not a bhavana. Patanjali himself has clarified this in the third chapter. So Maitrī adi bhavana means Maitrī, karuṇā, muditā, and not upeksha. But here he has brought upeksha. That is something that we need to again consider, which we have not done so far. So this sutra is telling us to improve our mind, what is called as reformative consciousness and reactionary consciousness. So then how our mind should be? Let that be anyone. With relation to anyone, we must have our mind white, pure, transparent. I recall a verse from Bhagavad Gita, 6th chapter, 9th verse. Surun midraryu udasena madhyastha dvesha bandhushu sadhushu apicha papeshu samabuddhi visheshyate. Samabuddhi. Whether it is Surud Mitra, the very close friend. So the Maitrī bhava, Udasina bhava, Madhyastha bhava, and the absence of dvesha. So this is what is sadhu. Surun mitra rujasena madhyastha dveshya bandhushu sadhushu apicha papeshu samabuddhi vishishyate. So sadhu will have samabuddhi. He doesn't discriminate whether someone is a good person or bad person, and therefore I must. Then it is okay for you and me we have this principle of tit for tat. And many times and many people in many places justify this tit for tat policy. But this is not the policy for a sadhu. Sadhu is equal to everyone. I recall a story of Eknath Maharaj. Eknath Maharaj once the morning, as usual, got up and went to a river. He went to Godavari to take bath. And that was Ganga Snana, going to Godavari, which was flowing in his town, and then taking a bath there and to come back and carry out the daily ritual thereafter. So he goes and takes bath and comes out and starts walking back home. A person comes from opposite direction and spits on him. Eknath Maharaj quietly takes a right about turn, goes back to Godavari and takes another dip, takes a bath in Ganga and comes out and starts walking. This person was really hiding. Again he comes in front of him and spits on his face and on his body. Again Eknath Maharaj goes back, again takes a dip. And this happens quite a number of times. So many times that finally this person loses patience to be vexing and tormenting him. He says every time he comes and I spit on him, yet he doesn't react to me, he just quietly takes a turn, right about turn, and goes back to river, takes a dip and comes back. First time, second time, third time, 10th time, 15th time. I have done so many times and now he is tired of this. He's tired of this. He's tired of patience of Eknath Maharaj, because Eknath Maharaj never does not make any gesture, doesn't utter single word. Every time he takes a right about turn and comes back. It happens 10, 15, 20 times. Then he falls at his feet. He says, I'm very, very, very sorry for what I have been doing and I have done today. So Eknath Maharaj raises him from the floor, because he had fallen at the feet of Eknath Maharaj. He says, stand up, stand up, stand up. Why are you feeling bad about it? I am thankful to you that you gave me 10 times Ganga Snanam. 10 times I went and took dip in Godavari. So I was fortunate to take 10 times the dip, 10 times the bath and dip. So I should be actually thanking you for what you did. Otherwise I would not have done 10 times the bath. But on account of you, I did 10 times Ganga Snanam. And therefore, I am grateful to you. This was the tolerance of Eknath Maharaj. He was called Shanti Brahma. His peace could never be disturbed. This person tried frantically to disturb him and agitate him, irritate him, but nothing happened to Eknath Maharaj, because this was his reaction within the mind, that after all, I am fortunate to take second bath. I am fortunate to take the third bath and 10th bath and 15th bath and 20th bath. Every time the happiness was increasing for him. The delight was increasing. So, that is how a sadhu is. So he has samabuddhi. He is equal to anyone and everyone. There is nothing like prejudice in his mind for anyone. There is nothing like malice for anyone in the mind. The kaluṣya is not there. So, that's why they have samabuddhi. They are equal to friend and foe. They are equal to those who are their benefactors or those who are tormentors. They don't change their reaction. the needle is at only one place. It really doesn't delight them because of friends around, nor torments them with the alien people around, because they have nothing like alien. We have this. We have allies and aliens. Somebody is our ally, somebody is our alien. But for sadhu, there is nothing like ally and alien. And therefore they have samabuddhi. And that is what is really suggested in this sutra. We must develop this samabuddhi so that we will come whatever prejudice in our minds, whatever malice in our mind for any particular person. I recall another very, very popular prayer of Rantideva, and this is so popular in entire community in India. Sarve bhavantu sukhinaha, sarve santu nirāmayāः, sarve bhadrani pashyantu, ma kaśchit dukkha bhag bhavet. He doesn't only pray for everyone to be happy and have no iota of sorrow, because this is impossible. You can't say that everyone should be sorrowless in this world, because sorrow is eternal reality. So see Rantideva, what does he say? Oh God, keep everyone happy, everyone happy. He doesn't stop there. Sarve bhavantu sukhinaha, sarve santu nirāmayāः. Let everyone should be healthy, unvexed and untormented, and let everyone will be in happiness. He doesn't stop with this prayer. He further says, Sarve bhadrani pashyantu. Let all the people see all virtuous things. Let them not see something that saddens them, infuriates them, angers them, worries them, torments them. Let them not see anything in their life which would be tormenting them, worrying them, harassing them, or vexing them, or sorrowing them. Let them not see anything such thing in life. But is it possible? It's not possible that everyone in the world has such a state. It is utopian to be thinking that way. But Rantideva doesn't have utopian idea. He says, let all those come to me. If there is anything that they are going to suffer, let the sufferance be inflicted on me. If they are going to be inflicted with problems, let the problems not inflict them, but let the problems afflict me. So also if they are going to see something that is going to torment, harass, worry, sorrow them, let them not see that. Let that come to me. I will share all their sorrows of every kind. I am prepared to share their sorrows. It's not just utopian idea, let everyone be happy, let God bless everyone. This is not possible. So I will take part, I will partake all their sorrows, all their ill health, all their vexations, all their tormentations. So this is what Rantideva says. See now, try to read the mindset of someone like Rantideva who had such a prayers. Kamaye dukkha taptanam praninam artinashanam. So he knows that sufferance is not going to be getting away from this world. This world is such that sufferance is bound to be there. But he is going to take responsibility for all sufferance. He says, I am responsible for everybody's sufferance, anyone's sufferance, whether known or unknown, I am responsible. Therefore, I will partake all that. Please direct all that sufferance to me. That was the great noble soul in Rantideva. So that is what is being suggested in this sutra, and not merely the principle practice friendliness toward those who are happy, have compassion for those who are sad, have gladness those who are virtuous, and have indifference to all those who are wicked and sinister people. So it is not just that way. We must idealize Ranti Deva for our dhyana sadhana. So that is what I wanted to say about the citta-kāluṣya, which Vachaspati Mishra mentioned in his Tattva Vaisharadi. And I recall another verse in Bhagavad Gita, second chapter, two verses, second chapter 64-65. Ragadvesha viyaktastu viṣayāṇāṁ indriyaicharan atmavashyai vidheyātma prasadam adhigacchati. Prasadam adhigacchati, and this is citta-prasādanam topic. And therefore, Maitrī, karuṇā, muditā-pekṣāṇāṁ, sukha-duḥkha, puṇya-apuṇya viṣayāṇāṁ, bhāvanās, citta-prasādanam. So, prasadam adhigacchati is what Bhagavad Gita says. Prasanna chetaso hi asho buddhi paryavatishthate. So one becomes prasanna. And one needs to be prasanna for dhyana. So for this particular dhyana that Patañjali is speaking about, where you should be prasanna, and therefore he does japa. He is prasanna, therefore does japa, and then escalates prasannata. And this gives prasadam. Prasada means that graced condition, blessed condition to the mind. Prasadam means blessed condition. So first of all, we must develop this blessed condition in the mind. Then when we embark upon japa, etc., we will not be facing that condition that we every time face. Vexed, tormented, disturbed. So that will not happen. Basically, we don't have prasadita chitta. Therefore, this is the measure for citta-prasādanam. So he suggests something that we must inculcate, imbibe, and reform ourselves. We have to improve our reformative consciousness and reactionary consciousness. Now, the Maitrī is sauhardam. The meaning of Maitrī. It is not that we should become friends. Sauhardam, soft-heartedness. And karuṇā is krupa. Unless the krupa bhava is there, we will not be having compassion. Otherwise, it is dry compassion. Muditā is harsha. And upeksha is audasinyam. Now, this is something that is debatable, particularly when we are taking into consideration the what you call those who have social mindedness, philanthropists. What is this philanthropist? If somebody is sinister person or social worker, social reformers. So when Patanjali says with reference to the wicked people, sinister people, those who are committing sins, with respect to them, there should be indifference. Now this sociological norm doesn't endorse with this. Sociological norm will say that in that case, go and help the person, pull him out of the mire of sinning, reform him. Because I remember one modern mystic saint has this to say. He had this to say. He said these so-called social worker, majority of them, or those who have this, missionary kind of aim in life, they want to help others because they think helping the poor, helping the downtrodden is helping the God. And therefore, if they come across someone in bad tendency, they want to go and help the person, give any counseling to person, and they want to uplift the person. So these social workers, they don't bother about self-upliftment, but they bother about somebody else's upliftment. They have the joy and delight in helping someone come out of the problem. Say somebody is addicted person. These people go all out behind that person, and then they really take all pains to really bring that person out of that bad habit or that addiction. And they go all out. So they have this kind of the missionary life, missionary gravity to their minds, and they want to help the troubled ones. Now here, Patanjali says that with reference to a sinister person, be indifferent to such a person. He doesn't say go and help the person to come out of the sinister tendencies, which social worker would be doing. So-called humanitarian minds would be doing it. Humanitarian minds, they go and help such a person. But then Patanjali is not saying this. The first thing is that Patanjali is not at all here to advocate any social norm. Patanjali is not here to mention that. Even if that is in his mind that you should be helping such persons, he doesn't say that here, but he says you must be indifferent. Why? You should know the reference to this topic. Our Ekatatvabhyasa is getting detonated, is disturbed, is interfered with, is spoiled, and we want a solution for that. So for solution for that particular condition, this is a apt advice. That if somebody is misbehaving, not a good person, sinister person, sinning tendencies are there, don't try to go and uplift him. Then you will not be adhering to solution for this problem. If this is not your problem, that you don't bother about your disquiet mind, and when you go to japa, etc., then you can certainly go and help. You are on humanitarian grounds, you can certainly help. But understand the reference to context to the sutra here. So many of them who has this social ideal, they don't endorse with this, that be indifferent to someone who is a wicked person. If you come across a wicked person, go and try to transform him. Doesn't matter even if you lose your one or two limbs, but try to reform him. Because that is what they have sworn to do in the life, that they want to lift those people who need to be helped to come out of such sinning tendencies. So for social worker, it is okay. Social worker should do that. But here Patanjali is not making us social worker. We are going towards the journey towards the self. And for that purpose, we need to have eka tattva-abhyasa, īrṣā tattva-avalambanam, bhagat tattva-avalambanam, and we need to go for necessary meditative practices in that. And therefore, he says, with respect to those people who are sinister, who are in sinning, who are prone to sinning, who are wicked people, nasty people, try to be indifferent, try to distance yourself. Whereas social worker will go close to them, perhaps embrace them, and will be getting himself parched, but yet he will do whatever is possible with a condition do or die. Because his mission, his aim is to uplift, make an attempt to uplift someone. Whether he uplifts or not, it's a different thing, but he will frantically try to uplift a person. So that is what is to be also taken into account here with respect to this particular reaction which Patanjali is mentioning. audasinya or madhyastha or tatastha bhava, indifference, udasina. So try to distance yourself from them. You are not working as a social worker to get closer to vexed people and tormented people and try to help them out. And in that, you will really lose your character of the mind, which is needed for inward journey, subjectivistic journey. You will burn your hands. Like, some people want to burn the hand. They go for such endeavors and adventures to help someone and they burn their own hands. Now, here it's a case of burning one's own chitta. If you have chitta burnt, how can you go for such ekatatvabhyasa? So the chitta is burning. And therefore, the social-minded people or those who have social ideal in life, for them this is not the advice. This is advice for one who is giving priority to ekatatvabhyasa, one who is giving priority for samadhi, yoga, dhyana. For that, this is the advice of Patanjali, and very apt advice. So that's why this Maitrī karuṇā muditā-pekṣāṇāṁ sukha-duḥkha puṇya-apuṇya viṣayāṇāṁ bhāvanātaḥ citta-prasādanam. Now, very interesting thing remains to be considered with reference to this particular measure. The first, chitta parikarma. And interestingly, a very modern commentator, but a saint of 20th century, the previous century, Gulabrao Maharaj, has a wonderful dimension given to this sutra. Now here, the case is, if somebody is happy, if somebody is sad, if somebody in virtue, if somebody in wicked condition, what you should do. This is for chitta parikarma. But for yogic dharma, there is one more dimension that only Gulabrao Maharaj has highlighted. See, if people can be happy, sad, virtuous, vicious, we are also part of people, so we also can be that. We also can be happy, we also can be sad, we also can be in virtue, we also can be in wickedity. We can be in a wicked activity. If not all the time, once in a while it can happen that we have done something with a wickedity. That cannot be ruled out. So, wonderful dimension has been added by Gulabrao Maharaj. He says, in case you yourself you are happy, you should not be in Maitrī bhava with you. You need to have different kind of reaction. It is one reaction to be friendly for anyone, everyone, happy, whether known or unknown, close one or not so close one to you, you should be happy. But what if you yourself are happy? What should be your own reaction to your own happiness? Then if others can be sad and you need to be having compassion. If anyone is sad, you want to have compassion for that person. But what when you are yourself sad? Should you have compassion for you? Not at all. Other people can commit some virtues, noble things, noble acts, noble deeds. You must have gladness. You must say Shabbas. You must say wonderful. You must felicitate them. You should honor them. Maybe even perhaps a public felicitation, public honor, because somebody has done very good thing. But suppose you yourself, you have done exaltedly a good thing, noble thing. Should you pat yourself? Should you have arati for yourself? You will do arati for someone who has done good job. You will really do arati for such a person. You will felicitate such a person. You will honor such a person. But suppose you yourself, you have done it. Should you have your own auto self felicitation program? Garland yourself? Buy a garland, put it around your neck, and what is called as arti utarna. Will you do arati for yourself? Will you pat yourself? Will you felicitate yourself? And suppose you have done wickedity, should you be indifferent to yourself? So when you turn the coin that you are happy, you are sad, you are in virtue, you have done a noble act or you have done a wicked act, then it is not Maitrī, karuṇā, muditā, upeksha. It is something else that needs to be done. So he brings out wonderful dimension that if you are happy, don't be friendly to yourself. You don't have to have friendliness. You can have gratitudes for the people around you, people elderly to you, the people who are respectful for you, and the God, the deities. So see that you have gratitudes for them. It is because of their puṇya that I am happy. Don't just take it to believe that you are happy by your own accord. Say that you are graced. Think that you are graced and therefore you are happy. So you must have gratitude for all those forces who are revered to you, or even the society around you. See that you have some gratitude. It is because of the society that you are a good person. It is because of your society background, social background, you are happy. Family background, good family background, therefore you are happy. Good ancestral background, therefore you are happy. The grace of deities, therefore you are happy. Grace of Almighty, therefore you are happy. So have sense of gratitude when you are happy. So also when you are sad, you must take it positively that I have exhausted some of my dark karmas and therefore I have suffered, I am suffering. Don't blame someone. Don't hold someone as a culprit for your sufferance. So take it that this is a lesson for me. You take a positive lesson when you are suffering. So you must have this kind of vision to find something that this is a lesson. When I am suffering, it's a lesson. When I am suffering, I am clearing my account of sin. So that is now exhausted. Thank God, my sin account has been settled to some extent because of this condition that I am in. And don't have compassion for yourself. Don't be having self-pity. Oh, what a condition I am having. What you will have for others. If somebody is sad, what will be your reaction? As I said, oh, I feel so sad for you. Don't feel sad for you. Feel happy for you. Then suppose you have carried out some virtue. Then as I just now told you, if you have carried out virtue, you want to felicitate a person, you want to honor a person, you want to have a public reception given to person and then felicitate, honor, respect the person. Recognize the greatness of a person, eulogize the person, praise the person, give him a scroll, felicitate, etc., etc. Don't do that for yourself. If you have committed virtue, again thank God. He gave you good buddhi to be in virtue, to carry out this exalted virtue. So thank again your ancestors. Thank again what you call backstage conditions, backstage people. So sense of gratitude for the entire backstage. Don't think that you have done something yourself, and don't be having something which can add to your pride. So see that you are thankful to entire backstage, on account of the backstage that you did some virtue. All those supporting factors. See that you have gratitude. And when you have committed a sin or wickedity, don't be indifferent. You must self-reprimand. You must admonish yourself. Don't be indifferent. Admonish. Don't pardon. Don't have this pardoning nature, or don't be just creating a distance. Oh, once in a while it happened, let me forget. No, don't do that. Reprimand. Admonish yourself. Look down upon yourself. Scold yourself. You must scold yourself with very, very, very strong words. So these are totally different reactions, to be on the same lines which Patañjali mentions. So Gulab Maharaj has brought out wonderful dimension to the same sutra with a simple proposition. If you yourself are in sukha, dukkha, punya and papa, how you should react, how you should be unto yourself, how you should treat yourself. This is also a very important thing to be considered in this particular measure that we have been mentioned. So it's the other side of the sutra. We usually see one side of the coin and we don't turn the coin and see the other side. But here it turns to the other side. If I myself am subject to being happy, being sad, being in virtue, being in vice, wickedity. So it's just turn around and it will be same culture that you are in. So this is unique dimension given by Gulab Maharaj to this sutra. So point is, when we have this reformative and reactionary consciousness touched, processed, cultured, carved, sculpted, treated, then our mind will be definitely more successful in ekatatvabhyasa, īrṣā-kāluṣya, ekatatvavalambanam, going for japa, going for dhyana, and we will definitely come out of the phase that we are all in. When we commence our dhyana, when we commence our japa and dhyana or nama sadhana, japa sadhana, we are invariably attacked by these things from within, because we have not done the internal management. And this is the sutra for internal management of the chitta. Therefore, it is citta-prasādanam, the first of the measure. So with that, we are ending the discussion on this sutra. The next we are going to the second measure, which Patanjali mentions as an option, as or, and I have told you these are not or options. It is not either this or that, but whenever this is suitable, Maitrī Karuna should be suitable for everyone, anyone, all the time. In our vyuthana avastha, in our worldly activity of life, in our worldly business activity of life, we must practice this principle. This principle doesn't come in our yoga. This has to be this principle that has to be practiced. What comes from yoga is our satsanga, sadhana sangha, shastra sangha, in the internal realm as well as in the external realm. So this will culture our mind, carve our mind, sculpt our mind, and then will improve our reactions. will improve our reactionary consciousness and reformative consciousness. So it is both yogic measures and also outside yogic measures. Both are available for Maitrī, karuṇā, muditā, upeksha, bhāva. But the next one is with reference to our own breath and our own prana shakti. So something can be done with that as well. And this perhaps comes invariably for a yogic meditation. There is no alternative. Whatever is your hierarchy, a beginner or a ripe, accomplished yogi, you can't do away with this measure. It starts with this measure. Only measure comes in different ways for a neophyte, for a beginner, for a raw person, for a ripe person, ripe yogi, accomplished yogi. Now that is the second measure. Prachardana vidharanabhyam va pranasya. So this will come as a head for every meditative session, every session of dhyana, every session of japa, which is of the nature of eka-tattva-abhyasa, eka-tattva-avalambanam. For other japas, you don't have to do this. Every japa, you don't have to do this. There are chala japas, nitya japas. You don't necessarily have to do it. As a matter of fact, you should recall, when you are vexed and tormented, there is a japa to be done, and that's the dhyana. Japor dhyanam, Srimad Bhagavatam. So that kind of dhyana, you don't need this. You don't need all these considerations. But for yogic dhyana, you need it. So that's the second measure, which is very interesting measure. But that we will do next time. Namaskar all of you.